Welcome back to Wolfie's Den. Hope everybody's having a nice weekend. Right, we're on to the letter L in the A to Z of my Blu-rays. But first, just before we come to those, which are here, not a big pile, but quite a few. Yes, but before that, I've had a few deliveries this week, some different items. So I just want to give you a quick viewing of those. So first up, we have what they call the big sleeve editions, and this is Valerian, was it Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. A few of these releases out. I think I've got about a dozen of them. They're just a bit of fun. There's Blu-rays and DVDs and art cards in this one. Some have posters. They just remind me a bit of the old laser discs. Let's give you a quick look inside, maybe. Let's have a look. Oh. Yeah, there you go. If you can see that or not. 3 discs, picture, and there's a sleeve inside with all the post art cards in. And they're great big A4 size art cards. So that was that. This one, quite a few people have done an unboxing of and reviews of recently, so I won't say too much about it because probably most of you out there know about it. This is the 88 films release of Absurd. An original video nasty. I think this goes hand in hand with Anthropopus. You know what I mean, Anthropopus the Beast. This is the better of the two films, in my opinion. A bit more gore in this one, a bit more story in this one. I haven't opened it yet, but there's a booklet in there and everything. But as I say, quite a few people have done an unboxing and a review of this. So we had that one in. Now this is a nice pickup from Zavvi. I didn't even think it came nicely undented. It's the steelbook of Soldier Blue. Some lovely embossing on this, as you can see there. Lovely colouring. There it is. Nice steelbook. Soldier Blue. It folds right out. Lovely artwork on that one, really nice. Very violent western for its time. Probably one of the most violent westerns ever. I believe this was it Sam Peckinpah? I don't think it was or not. Must buy some glasses. But anyway, very violent western. Candice Bergman. Good story. And I'll still book that one. Next up, if John from Mondo Cello Movies is watching, or Nigel from Rock God 2004, he might like this little. It's quite humorous. It's a Video Nasties mug. All the, well, not all, but all the major like clips from the newspapers in the day. Really colourful. I thought red seemed to be the appropriate colour to buy it in. So it's a nice little Video Nasty mug. Yeah. As I said, a bit of a mixed batch this week so far. And last but not least, picked up this little beauty. This is A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger's 1958 Cadillac. I don't know if you can see that or not. There he is. There's actually someone sitting in the car. I don't know if that's supposed to be Heather Lakenkamp or one of his victims or whatever. There's Freddy in there. There's a car with the stripes on the top. On the back. And the sides. Anything on the bottom? No, not really. So that's a nice little pickup. So that's Freddy's Cadillac. I think this appeared right towards the end of the film when the mother was pulled through the door right at the end. That's where I remember it from. I don't know if it was in the film previous to that, but so there we are, Freddy's Cadillac. So those were the pickups or deliveries this week. So let's carry on with the A to Z. So as I say, we're on L at the moment. So first up, we have a film called Lady Frankenstein. This has got Joseph Cotton. God, there's an old actor. This is the European Cult Cinema Collection. Don't know much about that one, I'm afraid. Lady Frankenstein. Next we have a Brian Yuzna film. This is Lake of the Dead. You can imagine this being a bit iffy, cheesy. Lake of the Dead. Is anybody excited? I know it's all written in German. Perhaps someone can tell me about that one. Lake of the Dead. Now we have a nice release of George A. Romero's Land of the Dead. It's got limited edition artwork on this, which is like a window box effect, like some of the Arrow films used to do in the early days. As you see, like that comes out. Oh, and we got didn't even know these were in here. A couple of little art cards. I didn't even know they were there. There's a surprise. That's Land of the Dead. I must admit, sometimes when you have so many films in your collection, you do forget what you got sometimes, especially when you pop to CEX. I do wonder, like, I ponder, have I got that? Have I not? That's why I end up with some doubles sometimes. Right, next up is The Land Unknown. It's got reversible sleeve and a poster in this one. Don't know the stars of this one. Looks like a bit of a 1950s type film. Before Jurassic World, of course. Jurassic Park. That's a world. Oh, sorry, The Land Unknown. A bit like the Lost World films. I've got some of them coming up as well. Next up, we have a bit of fantasy. The Last Airbender. Not a brilliant film, but a bit of fun. Sunday afternoon, maybe. Next, in a nice slip cover, we have the extreme uncut edition of The Last Exorcism Part 2, which is quite worrying, really, because if the first one was The Last Exorcism, how can this be The Last Exorcism? That's films for you. Next up, we have an uncut special edition of The Last Horror Film. Apparently this used to be called Fanatic as well. This has got Joe Spinell and Carolyn Munro in. I believe they were both in Maniac as well, which is a video nasty. So that's The Last Horror Film. Next up, we have a film I believe I got from Film Treasures. This is The Last Hunter. I think this should be along the lines of Rambo or Chuck Norris Mission in Action type adventure. It's The Last Hunter. Next up we have The Last Matinee. Looks like another film I bought on a whim because I have absolutely no idea about this one. Let's have a quick look. There's loads of special features. This doesn't even tell you who's in it. No, don't know. Anyway, Last Matinee. Should have to look that one up on IMDb. Next up, excellent film, this one. Really enjoyable. It's a Michael Mann film, the guy who made Manhunter. This is Last of the Mohicans, director's definitive cut. So there's obviously some extra minutes in this one. It's not really saying how many extra minutes there is. It's a runtime of 114 minutes, so it can't be much longer than the original. Next up we have maybe twice. Yep, for some reason twice we have the American 25th anniversary edition of The Last Starfighter. And also the Arrow edition of The Last Starfighter. Good little fun film, this one. That's it. Yeah, there's some posters and booklets and things inside this one. I believe this has just got a 4K release as well. I don't think there's going to be a lot of difference between that one and the 4K. But no date they'll tell me. This one is Vin Diesel in The Last Witch Hunter, exclusive steelbook edition. Then we have a film that was very controversial in the 70s. This is the uncut version. This is Marlon Brando in Bruno Bertolucci's Last Tango in Paris. Personally, I found it completely fucking boring. But let's say if you know what to do with a lump of butter, better watch this film. Not saying much more. But boring. Next up we have, alright, this is a German release, Leatherface uncut. Can't remember where this fits into the series. There's been so many releases. That's Leatherface, part of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Then we've got The Legacy, another little horror film. Sure is in this one. Special effects, sort of new transfer. Catherine Ross, Sam Elliott. Oh, Roger Daltrey's in it as well, from The Who. Interesting. Screenplay by Jimmy Sangster. Just trying to see who directed it. There's a song sung by Kiki D. Blimey. Yeah. The Legacy. Could be a British type horror with American actors. Next up we have Legend. This is the Tom Hardy film. There's a bit of a lenticular on this, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there we go. Boop, boop. It's Tom Hardy playing both the parts of the Cray twins. Plays a really good role in this. Personally, I prefer to watch the other one, the one called The Crays, which I think it's got the two brothers from the Kemp brothers who were in Spandau Ballet. Still a good film, that. Next up we have another film called Legend. This is a Ridley Scott film with Tom Cruise. This is a fantasy adventure film. One of Tom Cruise's really early films. Next we have The Legend of Tarzan. Samuel L. Jackson, Margot Robbie, Alexander Skarsgård. The Legend of Tarzan. God, how many films of Tarzan have there been over the years? Oof, loads. Next we have another horror film, Legion. Next up is a remake of, I believe it was a Scandinavian type film, vampire film. This is called Let Me In. This is the remake. I haven't seen the original. I can't really comment on that. Different type of vampire film, that one. Next up we have an Arrow release of Life Force. This can be a bit of a Marmite type film. You either love it or you hate it. I quite enjoy it. So, oh, pretty good. Just 3 discs in this one with a poster. Or booklet, sorry. Not bad. Life Force. Vampires in that one as well. Space vampires. Bit of sci-fi sort of horror. Never watched this one, but Life of Pi. Must be a car boot pickup or something, this one. Not the sort of film I'd buy normally. And we have Bill Nighy in The Limehouse Golem. Bit of Victorian atmospheric horror. If you like your old-fashioned Sherlock Holmes type films, this is probably up your street. Right, next we have, with a very sort of flashy cover, we have Bradley Cooper, and we think you've even got Robert De Niro in this somewhere, Limitless. I don't know if you can see that. Limitless. Next up is Matthew McConaughey, or Hay, in The Lincoln Lawyer. It's a good story, good film, this one. The other half likes this kind of film. She likes all the drama, court scenes and that kind of thing. Those kind of films. It is a good story, though. Lincoln Lawyer. Next up is Meet the Parents, Little Fockers. Quite a humorous comedy for its time. Meet the Fockers. Next up we have, don't believe this was on the video nasty list, but this is The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. Zombie horror. Then we have Guy Pearce in a Luc Besson film. It says here it's Die Hard in space. Lockout. Ooh, nearly lost that then. Lockout. Next up we have, I have watched this film but I don't remember anything about it. We have Colin Farrell, Keira Knightley, Ray Winston in London Boulevard. Looks like it might be a bit of a gangster type film. So I have seen it but don't remember anything about it. Next up we have Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, Morgan Freeman in London Has Fallen. There is a trilogy of these. Was it 4? There's 3 or 4 of these. All got Gerard Butler in. Next up we have Johnny Depp in a film that didn't get very good ratings, I don't think. The Lone Ranger. Next up we have Mark Wahlberg. I will get these names right in a minute. In Lone Survivor, based on a true story. Next up, we seem to have a double bill on this one. We have The Long Kiss Goodnight and The Assassin. So 2 films there. Gina Davis, Samuel Jackson, and Bridget Fonda in the last film. And Long Kiss Goodnight is a very underrated film, I think. It's a good action thriller. Next up we have another German edition. This is The Long Riders, or Long Riders. This is a western, I would say along the lines of The Wild Bunch, which came out about 68, 69, Sam Peckinpah film. This is a really good action western. And give it a, get time, give it a watch. Next up we have, yet again, 2 versions, or double dips, of Brian, no, not Brian, what's his name? Bruce. I was going to say Brian. Bruce Willis on Looper. So this one's like that. Different cover on that one. There's 2, same film, just appear to have 2 copies of it. Next up is, now this is a really depressing film. It's called Lords of Chaos. It's got Rory Culkin in, which I think is, what's his name? The guy from Home Alone, his brother. It says here, based on truth and lies, and what actually happened. It's all to do with Norwegian death black metal bands, murder, mayhem, and burning of Norwegian churches. It's all a bit depressing. Next up we have one of Britain's greatest, in my opinion, gangster films, just been released on 4K. And I've got a 4K edition of this as well. This is The Long Good Friday with Bob Hoskins and Helen Mirren. Good film, this one. Strong cast. It's also got, if you're a watcher of Casualty, got Charlie in it from Casualty. Forget what his real name is, but I think it's his first major role film appearance. Bit of boring trivia there for you. Next up, we've got the Lost Boys trilogy, which is Lost Boys, The Tribe, and Lost Boys the First. To be honest, when I first saw this, I didn't even know there was 2 other films. Everybody relies so much on the original, but no, I don't think any of the original cast are in the other 2. I might be wrong. That's Lost Boys trilogy. And then we go to Cult Movie Collection. This is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World. This has got Michael Rennie, Jill St. John, Claude Rains, David Hedison in the cast of this one. So I'd imagine this is probably a late 50s, 1960s film. Lost World. 2 left. Next up we have Jeffrey Combs in H.P. Lovecraft's Lurking Fear. And the last one is in the Slasher Classics collection. This is Luther the Geek. Pretty nasty sort of slasher type film. So there we go. That finishes all my Blu-rays under the letter L. Although I may have some in the box sets, boutique ones, which I shall have to come back to again, as I keep forgetting to put them in on another short video. So that's it for now. I shall be back again soon with the letter M. So hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and come on England tonight, and hope they pull it off. See you later.